I had to start it off with that song, Prince, good old Prince. If you listen to the lyrics, in the beginning, he says, I'm not a woman, I'm not a man, I am something that you'll never understand. Just marinate on that. Just really marinate on those words. And I'll get into how Prince plays a part in this video. So I really wanted to get into the topic of sexuality. I've been thinking about sexuality, on and off for about a year now, as I've been connecting with my own sexuality and really just coming to understand what that means and what that really is. And it's really been on my mind heavy lately. And kind of what started it was I went to see the movie Moonlight, and I was so excited for this movie, and I still appreciate, that this movie came out and that this movie was just offered to people, and that people were able to see that vision, someone's life in that realm, because a lot of movies like that don't exist. So I felt like it was something that was definitely needed. And as I was watching it, I enjoyed it, but the question that arose for me after watching that movie was, why is physical sex the determining factor of someone's sexuality? Like, that's really what came up for me. And so, like, I was just thinking about that, and that movie kind of helped me to see it a little bit more. And it's like, why is that? Why is it that because a man wants to feel on another man, that makes him gay? That's the determining factor of his sexuality. You know what I mean? Just questioning that whole aspect and that whole programming. And so as I'm thinking about this question and exploring that topic, I came across an old dream that I had about earlier last year of it was a strong black woman, and she had her legs open, she was naked, and she had full breasts or big breasts. And Prince was also, in this dream. And I was on the phone with someone in this dream as well. I was on the phone with someone, and we were discussing how I was starting to merge with the masculine, feminine energies within me. So I came across that old dream, and then that night I went to the club with my cousin to celebrate with her birthday and her going away little shindig, things like that. So we were out celebrating, and we went to the third floor of the club, and we were up there just resting, just kind of relaxing after we came from dancing on the first floor. So we went up there just to kind of chill out, and there ended up being like a mini drag show. And it was two different performers. And as these men, who were dressed as women, of course, as they were performing, my heart got so happy. Like, I just felt good just watching them. And of course, it was all like unexpected, but it was perfect timing because I was getting more into sexuality and going beyond that physical aspect of just being attracted to someone and wanting to have physical sex with them. I was going beyond that, and just seeing these people be creative and express themselves in this way, it made my heart feel good. And so as I'm still thinking about this topic, of course, I'm thinking about Prince and what many people will say about him. He was very sexual. But what does that mean? What Prince really was very creative, because your sexuality is really just your expression of your creativity. And that's what I'm realizing about that. And Prince was damn creative. We all know that. We all know how much he has done, in the music world, and how big of a pioneer he was. So, and because of that, him being in tune with his sexuality and just the controversy he stirred up in people, like, oh, he has a lot of women around him, but he dresses very feminine and he acts very feminine, but he sings in that deep masculine voice and he can go so high, just this complex being who was in tune with his sexuality, who is in tune with his expression of his creativity. And that's what that is. That's what sexuality is. It's being in tune with that expression and being, creative. Because on a physical level, when a man and a woman come together and they make love in the bedroom, a baby is created from that. New life is created from that. So just that's seen on every aspect of life, not just creating a human baby or having physical sex with someone. Life is about coming together to connect and create and be creative. And as I'm just realizing this, I'm like, yes, that makes sense. Your sexuality is your form of expression and creativity. It's not just that physical, sexual aspect of it like people think it is, it's beyond that. So I'm gonna just think about that a little bit. And I brought up some tips, or I wrote down some tips that I'm going to share to help connect to that your sexuality, that creative aspect of you, which is linked to the sacral chakra. And sacral, that's close to the word sacred. And to me, the sexuality is sacred because it's connected to the divine. You are a unique expression of divine creation. Create. Um, I'm just excited. So, some tips that I came up with: drink carrot juice or orange juice. So orange is the color related to that chakra. And it's so funny because I was drinking carrot juice before I even got deeper into the idea of exploring sexuality. Before I even got deeper into it, I just felt like drinking carrot juice, and now I see why. But drink carrot juice or orange juice, or wear orange underwear. Whatever the mind believes is what you create. You can get creative with it, which is what we're talking about, creating. So maybe wear orange underwear to connect with that chakra. And you can also do some chanting. Vam is the mantra connected to the sacral chakra. And I never know if I'm saying it right. Sacral. You know what I mean? I always, like, in my mind, I have it, but then when I'm like doing the video, I feel like I don't say it right, but that chakra. So you can chant Vam, Vam, Vam. Use that chant to connect to that aspect. Do some hip circles, do some winding, get some movement going, get some energy flowing in that area. Meditate. You can meditate on this area to release any blockages that you may be having, or whatever the case may be, any blockages that you feel in the body in this area. Do some movements and meditate on that to release those blockages. Let me see if I have. Oh yeah, and I also wrote create your own chant. I know for me personally, I had a little chant like, my sexuality is sacred, my sexuality is divine, something like that. But make it your own. Come up with a chant to help you connect with that aspect of yourself. And I believe that was all the tips that I had. So that's all I wanted to share in this video. But just to reiterate, sexuality is your expression of creativity. It's not just about how, if you're attracted to a man or woman, that's just one. You can say that that's just one dimension of it. That's just one layer of it. That's like the basic layer of it. It does exist, and it's there, but it's like you can go beyond that. And that's what I've really done with this, and that's what I am doing by exploring this topic beyond that basic level. Because sexuality, and like I was saying, when that question came up for me, it was like, it has to be more than just the physical sex. It has to be more than that. That can't be the only determining factor of someone's sexuality. And it's not. It's one level of it. And to me, it's more complex than we have made it. There are layers. We are multidimensional beings. So there are layers to sexuality. And just someone like Prince, just look at him as an example in just what he exuded and how he expressed himself. And he has a song called Sexuality that I highly suggest you go back and read the lyrics and digest them, because it's deep. It's more than just about sex, like how people think about sex. Just get in tune with your sexuality, connect to that sacral chakra. Do some of those tips that I should suggested, or just see what works for you. And don't be afraid to ask questions like, well, what is sexuality? How do I connect to that? How do I get to know that aspect of myself? Don't just take my word for it. Do your own research, ask your own questions. I'm just here to share some things that I have discovered for myself. So yeah, I hope that helps in some way. But I hope you have a great day, a great night, whatever time it is that you're watching this video. And that's it. Peace.